After a hard-fought and closely watched election campaign, Mark Carney emerged victorious, ushering in a new era for the Liberal Party and for Canada as a whole. The atmosphere was electric as supporters celebrated, hopeful for the future and eager to see what changes the new government would bring. With Carney's Liberals now forming the government, expectations are high for both domestic reforms and a fresh approach to foreign policy. The party's win signals a desire for stability and pragmatic leadership, but also brings with it a host of complex challenges. Chief among these is Canada's complicated and often tense relationship with China. Despite the change in leadership, the diplomatic landscape remains fraught with uncertainty and mistrust. While some had hoped Carney's government might quickly reset ties with Beijing, deep skepticism lingers on both sides. Unresolved issues, ranging from trade disputes to human rights concerns, make any rapid improvement in relations unlikely. Experts widely agree that Carney faces a daunting task. He must carefully balance Canada's economic ambitions, such as expanding trade and investment, with the country's core values and national security interests. This is especially challenging as global tensions continue to rise and alliances shift. At home, public opinion is divided. Many Canadians are wary of closer ties with China, citing concerns over security and sovereignty, while others see economic opportunity. The new government must navigate these competing pressures, all while maintaining Canada's reputation on the world stage. Progress with China, if it comes at all, will be slow and incremental. Every step will be shaped not only by domestic political realities, but also by the evolving policies of Canada's key allies, such as the United States and European partners. Carney's approach is expected to be measured and cautious. Rather than bold, sweeping changes, he will likely prioritize stability, seeking to rebuild trust and open lines of communication while avoiding unnecessary risks. As Canada embarks on this new chapter under Carney's leadership, the world is watching closely. Every move will be scrutinized as the country takes its first careful steps in redefining its role on the global stage and managing the delicate China conundrum. In a twist few could have predicted, it's actually U.S. protectionism under President Trump that's setting off a chain reaction north of the border. As Trump doubles down on America First policies, imposing tariffs and renegotiating trade deals, the ripple effects are felt far beyond Washington. Canada, long accustomed to relying on its southern neighbor for economic stability, suddenly finds itself facing a new reality. The unexpected result? Canada is being nudged, almost pushed, towards strengthening its relationship with China, a move that once seemed unlikely given the two countries' differences. With Washington raising trade barriers and threatening long-standing agreements, Ottawa is forced to look beyond its traditional alliances. Diversifying economic partnerships is no longer just a strategic option, it's becoming a necessity for survival in an unpredictable global market. Each time a new dispute with the U.S. erupts, China's vast and rapidly growing market becomes even more attractive to Canadian exporters and policymakers. The lure of access to millions of new consumers and business opportunities is hard to ignore. The Trump administration's unpredictable approach acts as a wild card, making deeper engagement with China not just a diplomatic choice, but a practical necessity for Canada's economic security. Of course, political tensions and human rights concerns with Beijing persist, complicating the path forward. Yet, the economic arguments for closer ties with China are growing stronger with every new challenge from the U.S. The actions of the U.S. are forcing Canada to rethink its strategic calculations, prompting a reassessment of where its future opportunities truly lie. Out of adversity, new possibilities are emerging. Now, Carney's government faces tough decisions. They must weigh all available options, balancing political risks with economic rewards to secure Canada's prosperity in a rapidly changing world. Ironically, the very policies meant to protect American interests may end up accelerating Canada's pivot toward Asia, reshaping the country's economic destiny for years to come. In a surprise move, Prime Minister Carney announces Canada will remove many retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. This follows a direct call with President Trump and is framed as a step to de-escalate trade tensions. Carney emphasizes that most Canada-U.S. trade remains tariff-free, reassuring businesses and the public. The government presents this as a strategic adjustment, not a surrender of leverage. The goal mirror U.S. actions, foster goodwill, and jumpstart new trade talks. It's a calculated gamble, betting that good faith will lead to a more stable trade environment. Canada signals it wants to move past conflict and restore normalcy to its most crucial trade relationship. President Trump's positive response to Canada's tariff rollback offers hope, but he quickly reaffirms his America First agenda. Canada keeps tariffs on key U.S. products like steel and autos, maintaining leverage for future talks. The relationship is less tense, but core disputes remain unresolved. The partial tariff removal is a step forward, not a final solution. Both sides must now engage in sustained diplomacy to reach a lasting agreement. The challenge for Carney is to turn this momentary thaw into real progress. Washington's rhetoric is encouraging, but action is what matters. The next moves will determine if this is a turning point or just a pause in the conflict. The U.S. is the economic backbone for both Canada and Mexico, making USMCA stability vital. Disruptions in trade can have immediate, severe consequences for Canada's economy. Carney's top priority is ensuring open access to the U.S. market, which supports millions of Canadian jobs. Retaliatory tariffs were a pressure tactic, but they also raised costs at home. Finding a diplomatic solution is essential for North American stability and prosperity. Canada and Mexico have every incentive to keep relations with the U.S. functional, despite tough negotiations. The health of Canada's economy is tied to its U.S. trade relationship. Preserving it shapes every major decision. Carney's tariff rollback sparks fierce criticism at home, with opponents calling it capitulation to U.S. pressure. Critics argue Canada is weakening its negotiating position by acting without a reciprocal U.S. commitment. Some fear this move sets a dangerous precedent, inviting more aggressive U.S. tactics in the future. Many believe Canada should keep tariffs as leverage until all U.S. tariffs are lifted. The backlash puts Carney in a tough spot, defending his strategy to a skeptical public. The debate highlights the challenge of finding consensus on trade policy in a polarized climate. Canada stands at a pivotal crossroads, tasked with managing two of its most critical and complex international relationships, those with the United States and China. These relationships are not just about diplomacy, they directly impact the livelihoods of millions of Canadians, the stability of key industries, and the nation's long-term economic security. As global power dynamics shift, Canada must carefully weigh its options and make strategic decisions that will shape its future for decades to come. With the United States, Canada's largest trading partner, the immediate priority is to resolve ongoing tariff disputes and ensure the continued stability of the USMCA agreement. This partnership underpins much of Canada's economic activity, from manufacturing to agriculture, and any disruption could have far-reaching consequences for businesses and workers on both sides of the border. At the same time, Canada recognizes the necessity of developing a robust, long-term strategy for engaging with China's rapidly expanding economy. China represents both a significant opportunity for growth and a complex challenge, requiring careful navigation of political sensitivities and economic interests. Trade friction with the U.S. has made the need for diversification more urgent than ever. However, pivoting toward China is fraught with political risks, both domestically and internationally. Canadian leaders must balance public opinion, national security concerns, and the demands of global markets. Under Mark Carney's leadership, the government is pursuing a dual-track approach, working to protect vital industries at home, while simultaneously seeking out new global partnerships. This means strengthening ties not only with the U.S. and China, but also with emerging markets in Europe, Asia, and beyond. Every decision must be meticulously calibrated, as even a small misstep could upset the delicate balance Canada is striving to maintain. The stakes are high, and the margin for error is slim. Ultimately, Canada's success will depend on its ability to navigate this intricate challenge, remaining a steadfast ally to the United States, while also establishing itself as a pragmatic and influential player on the global stage. The future of Canada's economy, its prosperity, and its role in the world all hinge on getting this balance right. The choices made today will define the nation's path for generations to come.